Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel for more interesting stories like these. Now, let's get into today's story video. AITA for getting upset with my husband after he told me nothing will change while I am pregnant. The account was only used once. After 5 years of being together and 3 years of marriage, my husband, a 28-year-old male, whom I'll refer to as Jake in this story, and I decided to try something new. We had just recently begun trying for a child since we both thought it was the next step in our life together, and I obtained a positive pregnancy test result 3 weeks ago. We were ecstatic and immediately informed our family, and now my mother-in-law and mother-in-law-to-be have shown an interest in hosting a large baby shower for us. It was just wonderful news all around. While a result, 2 nights ago, as Jake and I were getting ready for bed, he reminded me to go around the house and turn out all the lights before falling asleep. Because he may be a little sluggish at times, it has become a nightly routine for me to check that all of the lights he leaves on before we go to bed have been turned off. I wasn't feeling well, so I asked him if he could simply take care of it, since he wasn't doing anything and was just standing by the door. He agreed. It's not unusual for him to remark, "No, this is what is expected of you every night." My wounds were fresh, but I didn't want to fight him, so I just went ahead and did it. I returned home to a lengthy and unprovoked tirade from Jake, in which he stated that just because you are pregnant does not mean everything will change, and that you are still expected to cook, clean, and perform all of the household duties every day because how can you be expected to be a mother if you are not willing to put in a little effort? No, he wasn't yelling at me or anything like that. He was speaking to me softly, almost as if I were only 2 inches tall. I was taken aback, since this was the first time I had ever heard him say anything like this. The rant was halted by me after around 30 minutes, and I said, "Well, what do you plan on doing to help me with all of this?" When I challenged him, he got really defensive, stating that he works extremely hard at his job in order to care for me and our future children. In order to put things into perspective, I don't work right now since my previous job didn't pay enough to keep me there. Therefore, I'm a full-time college student. He continued by saying that no matter how physically or mentally exhausted I am, it is a mother's responsibility to persevere, and that if he supported and babied me, I would not be a good mother. "I wish I'd known this is how you felt before I got pregnant with your child," I said, becoming upset and yelling. "I wish I'd known this is how you felt before I became pregnant with your child." There was a short moment of silence before he broke into tears and left for the night, intending to spend the night at his mother's house. He hasn't returned yet, and my mother-in-law and sister-in-law have called to admonish me and warn me that what I said destroyed Jake's heart and that I must repent immediately or he will not return home. I'm completely at a loss for words. What do you think I should get for yelling at my spouse after he said that he would not be able to help me with anything throughout my pregnancy, since it is a mother's responsibility to deal with it? Edit, first and foremost, I'd want to thank everyone for their replies. I'm sorry for not responding to anybody in particular, but I genuinely appreciate you guys. A number of you asked whether I informed my mother-in-law and sister-in-law what he said, and I did. They essentially stated I was overreacting, and all he meant was that pregnancy isn't an excuse to be lazy, and he meant no harm. Okay, I'm gathering my belongings and heading to my mother and father's home. My mother is upset with him and does not want me to apologize to him or speak to him unless the occurrence is documented or seen. Regardless, I'm okay and will be fine. I do thank all of you, though, since you have opened my eyes to many things that I may have been neglecting or disregarding through the years. Story 2. AITA for telling my friend off for yelling at his brother. I, 21 female, and my friend, 22 male, have been friends for close to 8 years. My friend lost his father 2 years ago, 2020, and I don't want to talk bad about the dead, but to put it lightly, he was a stain on humanity, and for the longest time my friend didn't like him that much. His father and his mother divorced when he was 3, and he lived with his mother for the last 4 years. She got remarried, gave birth to his brother is 12 years old. So my friend and I were hanging out at his house when his brother came over and asked us to watch a movie with him. I said sure, but my buddy had a nasty smile on his face. So he drew me aside and told me he didn't want to hang out with his younger brother. I questioned him. "Did you and your friends have a quarrel or something?" He claimed he doesn't want to be around him right now since he has been aggravating him a lot recently. I attempted to get him to expound on it, but he ignored me and simply said to tell him no, which I clearly wasn't going to do because I also wanted to watch a movie. So we watched a movie, And after the movie ended, which he was just huffing and puffing throughout and being downright mean every time his brother talked, I was talking to his little brother and asking him how schools were going and everything. And he was really excited talking to me about his swimming team and everything, and how he got motivated to get involved with the swimming team after I told him how me and his brother were in the swimming team together. Then his brother really burst, shouting at him that he doesn't want him to hang out with us anymore, and that he doesn't want him to have friends his own age. His brother was stunned and instantly began apologizing and running with teary-eyed. This is when I may have been the jerk. I shouted at him, asking him what was going on, and told him that if they had a problem, he needed to be an adult and speak to him rather than blow up in his face and throw a scene. He began claiming it's his brother, he can do whatever he wants, and it's none of my business. I informed him it's my business when he brought me into the statement that we don't give about him. I contacted his mother, told her everything, and waited for her to arrive before leaving. Later, my buddy contacted me, telling me that I'm in a hole for what I did and that I didn't simply do as he requested, and that informing his mother was a move. I haven't spoken to him. I'm not sure what I'm going to do when I meet him since I'm still angry. Ada? So, update. Hello everyone. I returned with an update since I chatted with a buddy about the incident a few days ago. To summarize, my 8-year-old pal and I were hanging around at his place. His younger brother showed up and wanted to hang out with us as usual. He bolted as soon as he spotted him. He shouted at him for no apparent cause. I became enraged and summoned his mother, who was dependent on us for childcare. I left when she returned. He was enraged that I had told his mother. So, when I had left the scene to allow everything to calm down on both sides, I approached him. I texted him to meet us at our favorite cafe because I wanted him to be in an open place where he could leave if he became upset by anything. I began by apologizing for the way I went off on him and for telling his mother. I went on to explain that I told his mother because I didn't want to stay there until his mother returned, and I didn't want to get into another fight with him again because I was still caught up in the heat, and his brother was still shaking up at the whole situation, and I knew he was still mad, so I didn't want to leave and him getting mad again and then fighting with no one there to break it off after I mentioned that. He immediately began apologizing excessively, stating that he was upset that day, that he can't believe he did that to his brother, that he feels like the worst person ever, and that he has no idea what came over him since he had never done anything like this before. I asked him what was wrong with him that day in general, since he was on edge from the start, but as soon as he saw his brother, he went off. I didn't include that in my initial article, but he adores his brother. He always speaks about him, and he always gives him his favorite things. His mother has even claimed that he pamper him excessively, so it's really out of character for him. So apparently, he was fidgety and on edge that day because he wanted to tell me something. Apparently, he was nervous to tell me. You may think you know where this is going, but I would like to elaborate. This man was on the edge to tell me. A very much self-proclaimed big daddy, he is, and he was hesitant to tell me why. He was afraid I wouldn't accept him. Anyway, let's not go into that sense. It was a can of worms, but we're okay. We talked about it in great length, and I assured him there was nothing to worry about, and we embraced. But yes, that's it. He apologized profusely to his brother, and we're all okay now. But thank you to everyone who pointed out that I shouldn't have informed his mother that way, and it wasn't my place. Thank you very much.